Hey everybody, we're live on TikTok. And tonight, oh, you might have noticed, I'll come up a little bit so you can see it. Ooh, got some stuff in the store apparently. I know it's probably a lot for you to see, but what's here is sort of important to us. Peacocks are more than pretty, they're guardian birds, and what we're here about is supporting and guarding for people whose brains are changing. So let me ask you a quick question. Okay, so oh, there it is. Almost lost a brain. You know, that can feel that way sometimes. Take a look at these two brains. So if I were going to tell you which one can hold more at any moment in time, what do you think you'd say?
One on the left.
If I said, which one do you think might be a little more able to handle things when it gets rough? What do you think?
Probably
this one over here on the left. Okay. What about which of these might have challenges in certain ways and yet be able to get into spaces or get into things or see things in a very different way?
That littler one.
Well, that littler one can get into some interesting situations. So one of the things about dementia that people don't think about is the person's brain is literally shrinking. Their brain nerve cells are pulling away from one another. They're losing connections. And so what I used to be able to do without worrying too much about, I have to worry about a little bit. So this brain is sort of like ours on a good day. And I emphasize on a good day because we can be just as challenged because of the chemical changes. So although our brain naturally is like this, if we get pressured, if we're feeling under time pressure or activity pressure or peer pressure, or if you ask me that one more time, it can actually sort of look like we're in very similar conditions. And in fact, our brains work in very similar ways. So one of the really important messages here is if you're not in a good place, it's highly improbable that you will be able to do some of the things we're going to show you to try and do.
Before you go in too deep, somebody asked about the new IV treatment for...
Oh, the new IV treatment, yeah. So many pieces and parts to this. So it was deemed to be something that was really going to keep this disease from getting more and actually turn it around and make it less. So it was going to take this brain, you know, wherever it was, and turn it around and make it back into this brain. I mean, that was the goal originally of it. So it's changed. And so we aren't sure exactly how much, if at all, for certain people with certain types of dementia. So it has to be Alzheimer's, but you want to be real careful if you're the kind of person that has young onset Alzheimer's, a particular type, because those folks, when they did the study, were actually more likely to potentially end up with some brain problems like little strokes or swelling in the brain or damage or those kind of things. But people who have a certain kind of young onset, different than that, might gain a few points over the course of a year to 2 years, okay, year to 2 years, gain 1.5 points, I think it was, on this. What's the day, what's the date, what's the day of the week, what's the month, what's the season, what's the year, what's the name of this place, what floor are we on, what city, what county, what state. I'm going to give you 3 words to remember, ball, flag, 22. What are those 3 words? Now try to hold on to those while I try to do something else. Have 100, take away 7, 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 take away 7. If you can't do that, could you spell the word world backwards? Say this now, ifs, ands, or buts. Draw 2 intersecting pentagons. What were those 3 words I asked you to remember? Take this piece of paper, fold it in half, and put it on the floor. 3-step instruction. Now, that's called the mini mental state or the full state. And so if you gained a point, like from where you were before, or stabilized, didn't lose a point, then that was deemed an improvement after a year plus. So,
for a pretty big fee.
Oh yeah, the cost was pretty hefty. I think it's $56,000 a year, and it's an infusion. So it's like, wow, I mean, that's a lot of, you know, we could probably do a lot with somebody for $56,000 a year that would get them to function more like their brain was working well if we had a good brain and we weren't so stressed out. But I get it. I mean, I truly do. People really want an answer. They want out of this. They want to have a route to get out. And that's what research is about. But this is sort of one of those places where I go, man, the data is really, I've got to say, if it were me or somebody I really cared about, I would be, I can't support it for me. And this is me, for me, I'm just saying, and for me and people I live with, I wouldn't do it. I'd find some other things to do with that amount of money. But I think would make a bigger difference in somebody's life.
You want to show some of those things?
So so let's sort of look at some things. And so one of the things that people get real frustrated about in dementia is what they can deem the person being resistant or refusing or not doing something.
I brought you some water. Do you want some water? Did you want some water?
No, I'm good.
Okay. You don't want the water?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Hey, Amanda,
Mm-hmm.
could I get something to drink?
I just offered you the water. Did you want the water?
Well, I don't want water.
You need to. The doctor says you need to
Well,
drink water.
I wanted coffee.
Well, you're not allowed to have coffee.
What do you mean I can't have coffee?
The doctor said no
Don't
more
tell
coffee.
me what I can. Okay, so let's go back. Let's rewind. Because this is where it often starts. So Amanda came in and, do you want water? Which is a yes-no question. And I don't advocate with yes-no questions because it turns out of every 10 times you ask a yes-no, 7 out of 10 you're going to get a no, because if I like to be in control, or I don't understand what you're saying, or I'm not sure where this is headed, or I've had some bad experiences, the safest thing to say, frankly, is no thank you, not right now, or no, or I'm fine. And it could be I didn't understand you. It could be I didn't like what you offered. It could be I don't like you standing up over top of me. But no is a safe answer. And my brain doesn't understand always the consequences of no. And as a matter of fact, she asked me if I wanted water, and I didn't want water. And then she wants to argue with me. Now, if you've seen any of our other sessions, you know that the right rhythm section in the temporal lobe is still pretty skillful. And so it will give you forbidden words and chit-chat words. No, thank you, I'm fine. No, okay, yeah, whatever. And what it also will give you are forbidden words. It will allow you to go back and forth in a conversation, turn-taking, but it will also allow you to argue, which is an escalated back and forth. And so when she says, you can't have that. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. And so no and yes are a back and forth automatic. I don't understand why I can't drive. See how that works? So what we're doing here is we're creating this rhythm of speech that has a feel of argumentative. So Amanda's going to start it over. She's going to come in and she's going to establish her relationship with me. Now, I want to point out that didn't take very long for me to refuse. But then when I asked for the coffee, and what happened? I asked for coffee, and what did she do? Oh, she refused me. Did that get documented? Hell no. And I'm going to use that forbidden word because it never gets documented. I said I want a coffee. He said, well, you're not allowed to have coffee. That's called refusing me. Rather than say, oh, you want some coffee? Is there a way I can have coffee? Do you have to say no? But see, I get identified as being resistant and refusing. And she gets to be the person that's trying to help. That doesn't sound really helpful. And then people say, well, it takes much longer to do what you're saying. And it's like, well, but nothing happened. So you spent all this time and really literally nothing happened, except I neither like you nor am I likely to drink that thing that you wanted me to. So have you actually gotten anything done? No, except you've ticked me off. So whoever comes in next, or if you come back, now I might actually have a higher probability that I won't do the other thing you want me to do, which is how we get to 7 out of 10. So let's try this. Let's try something a little different.
Knock knock. Hey, Teepa.
Hey.
It's Amanda.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, that's interesting.
You like that?
Well, I didn't say I liked it. I thought it was interesting.
Oh. Well, what do you think about the
I
color?
like the color.
It's new.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. It looks like what's that called? A thing.
A peacock or something else?
No. Here, come here. Come here. This thing here. This,
oh, yeah.
It's like
a brain.
Well,
but not quite.
It's like, I don't know. It's some kind of jargon.
Well, do you like it or?
I mean, it's pretty. I mean, it looks good on you.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking nice too.
Well, I'm looking like, oh, you got stuff on your feet too.
I do. Hey, Teepa.
Uh-huh.
Brought you some water. Doctor's orders.
Well, tell him to drink it.
Okay. First water, then we'll get coffee.
Oh, coffee?
Mm-hmm. But first,
How much?
just a little bit.
Well,
Much as you can.
How much is a little bit?
Much as you can.
Tell me how much.
How about try for this line here?
This one here?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Try for it.
Try
We'll see.
for it.
Just see how it goes.
All right. This one here, right?
Let's
that
see.
one?
Oh, you're doing good. You're halfway there.
Okay. Is that it?
Let's see.
Did I do it?
You did it, girl. Here.
Okay. Are you going to get me some coffee?
You come with me.
Okay.
Ooh, look at you go.
Go where?
Coffee.
No, I need to pee.
Oh,
Okay.
sounds good to me. That was a hidden agenda.
That was a hidden agenda. Okay, so what happened? Well, when she came in, I really focused on center field. Oh, were you with us when we talked about visual field? My visual awareness is often about here. So I can do this, but if you notice, that's sort of, I'm having to really extend and look up, and it's not as comfortable for me. So immediately, and if you would turn toward that screen, guess what caught my eye? I'm sure this is catching your eyes, which would be something to think about if you're going to wear this. Make sure you're wearing it in a situation where you're not, or if you're comfortable being touched, but make sure your other staff members are too. And what I did was I was very focused and interested on this. So Amanda had to let go of her agenda of the water until I was finished with what I was doing, or she could move me from it to the water.
And so then when I brought my hand up here,
Oh,
instantly
son of a gun. Huh.
covered the thing that was distracting and brought more attention to the thing I was hoping she would notice.
And she came in, she happens to know I don't care for the water. So she didn't come in with, hi, look, I've got water for you. Like, don't be Susie Sunshine when you know I'm a pisser. There's just no point to it. If I don't like something, I don't like, I brought you water, I know it's not your favorite. Give me a facial, a visual recognition, auditory. I know you don't like it. So she gave me the voice, the look. She knows I don't like it. So we're going to
I also brought in the authoritarian figure of the doctor.
Let him drink
Ugh.
it.
Yeah.
Now, does she need to say, now, Teepa, that's not nice?
She could, but
Good. This is a visual cue as to how that would go if you do that with me. Because what people have to remember is I have a history. What's my history? I taught at medical schools. I taught residents. I worked with attendings and interns and everybody else. And I respect them greatly, but they are not the boss of me. I'm a colleague and I have a say. And so how many years have I spent working on this? Do you really think a doctor telling me I should drink something? Because I've had years and years of trying to convince people they aren't allowed to have bacon. That's ridiculous. You get to be 92, eat, if you'll put it in your mouth, I'm in favor. Because this is that moment where after age 80 you lose weight, we're worried. That's a practical reality. We don't want people dropping a lot of weight after 80 because it's often a signal that something's really going wrong internally. So, back on task. Sidebar. It's my half hour. I can do what I want.
Do whatever you want.
I'm spending time. So what I have here is, interestingly enough, now I'm not advertising for any spaghetti sauce, but I love that this spaghetti sauce we get comes with a mason jar, and it actually, interestingly enough, has markings on it. And I'm enough of a healthcare provider, and I've been in this a long time. I know you're supposed to drink a certain amount of water a day. And if I still know that, I'm still aware of that. It's not missing. It's old data. What did I say? How much do I have to do?
How much do you have to? I have no idea. But if she's asking me and the doctor said it, then I'm going to give her something that I feel is reasonable. If I say drink all of it,
no way.
That feels like a task that's not achievable. So instead what I'll do is pick the first 2 lines, and that will at least get her started. And then noticing, as soon as I was done, she kept going.
Right. And Amanda has a choice then, and she made a choice to comment on it. She could have just ignored it.
I could have.
In which case, I might have kept drinking because I might actually be what?
Super thirsty.
Super thirsty. But what's the challenge? Oh, it's this again, where I don't always know what's happening all over here, which also means, ooh, you know that thing when Amanda said, let's go, my brain registered the primitive social of, I need to go. What is I need to go? What's one interpretation of that phrase?
To the bathroom.
To the bathroom. But we don't say it in polite society. Excuse me, I need to go. Is sort of the catchphrase for I need to go. And so she said we were going for coffee, but I went, oh no, I need to pee. Because in that moment, it suddenly hit me as I put the water in, as I'm more aware of that suddenly my brain went, cha-ching, 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 pay attention, we got an issue. And if I don't go right then, I might very well miss my opportunity. So we were going to get some coffee, but on the way, we were going to stop off and do something else. So that's an example of how we could possibly go from refusal, which we were getting a double refusal, to somebody who's amenable, but it was by being more flexible.
Somebody's asking about how does brain change affect consent? So you talked earlier about this social chit-chat thing. I can take turns and it tricks me into thinking you're getting
What you're saying.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, so this is a really important one. So Amanda, you come and I'll be on the other side. We'll switch slides. So I'm now the person seeking to find out whether or not Amanda's okay with something I'm gonna do. So Amanda, you have choices, okay? We can do your shot, okay? Now, we can either do a Johnson & Johnson shot, or we can do Pfizer or Moderna, okay? Either one of those. Now, one of them has 2 shots, and one of them just has 1 shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious as to which one you would prefer. Now, we do know that...
Whatever you think is best, probably.
Okay, well, I'm thinking for you because, you know, you're... So I'm putting it out. I haven't done any check-in, really. Her nodding her head. Did anybody notice what was happening in my head? So we have this and we have this. And I think I'm being pretty straightforward, and she's focusing.
Good visual cues of
nice visual. We have
2
this,
things,
or we have these 2, and you can do either one. This is 1 shot. This is 2 shots. Okay,
and then you bring in the needle.
And then I bring in the needle. What? I never said I would take a shot. Hey, Amanda, what I want to find out is we're going to be doing shots.
Ooh.
Okay? It's to keep you safe.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay.
It's good. But it will be, ow, like this much. I mean, this much.
Okay.
To keep you from getting, like, really potentially sick. Yeah. Is there someone you trust? You know, another person, like someone that we should talk with?
Well, my doctor does those things.
The doctor. Okay. Now you're staying by yourself or with someone?
Oh, yeah. The nice one. He's with the one that's nice.
The nice
with
one.
me.
Okay, so one of the people in your life that's nice.
Yeah, the good little one. He's
You
the
got
one
it.
that
Yeah.
stays.
Hey, Amanda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I have you pull your sleeve up? Will you pull your sleeve up? This one? Pull it up.
Oh,
Yeah. May I take that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do that.
You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Now, did I get consent to remove this rubber band? Hairband?
Yep.
Yeah. Did I get consent to give her a shot?
Nope.
Do I have a pretty clear idea that she can give consent about some things and she can't offer consent about other things?
If it's happening right now,
Mm-hmm.
I can probably give you pretty good consent.
Yeah.
If you're talking about something that's happening later,
Or in a big picture way. So this makes her incredibly vulnerable. honestly. I mean, she is incredibly vulnerable because people can take advantage of this and get her to sign things, agree to things, take money out of a bank. It's a high risk situation for Amanda. And without meaning to, I could take advantage. And I say, okay, now, so you're okay if we do this? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take your pants.
Oh!
Okay, so this giving of consent. I believe people living with dementia can give decent consent about things that are happening in those moments, and that they're either giving you a yes signal or a signal or I said no signal. And I want to respect that. But I also am aware that sometimes it's how I ask, when I ask, the situation, and it might vary. Now that's a good thing in that if I'm getting and I come back later and it's a yeah, it means I can often then take you to the bathroom or toilet or possibly get you to clean up or wash.
So somebody's asking about sexuality, intimacy, and consent, especially within a facility.
Yeah.
So
now
we do have some resources for that.
Yeah, we have resources for that. That one's a really complicated one, and I've actually done workshops for entire states to address that issue because it is a complicated issue, and everybody has an opinion. And it is important, I believe, to know somebody's background and lifestyle and beliefs. But I also want to respect in the moment that somebody who never would have done stuff in a particular way with a particular person before might be really seeking a sense of relationship. And it may not be sexual intimacy. It could be just simply liking and touching and enjoying this. But if you have somebody doing this, it can feel really intense and intimate and uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So if you're sitting here and I'm doing this and I don't actually know you, mm-hmm. and I'm another person living with dementia, for example, or I was your spouse, mm-hmm. and so we can get into all those kind of situations, I have to be really tuned in. And if my brain is functional and healthy and well, then I may be open to the idea of having a discussion about this and figuring out what does consent look like. And it gets really tricky because it can change in a moment. And there are other factors that play into this and the sense of loneliness and emptiness. But the idea of taking someone's hand and holding their hand and sitting back and enjoying some time together, this may be something that someone is really comfortable with. Now, if I'm doing this and she starts doing this, she may be copying me and not realizing that what she's touching and what she's doing is really sort of not the same. Because
this is not the same.
No, and to her, it's just I'm rubbing her, and
you got this thing here.
Yeah, I've got that thing. Yeah, and so she's tracing all this, and it could be, especially if you're watching, some of you are going, "Whoa!"
Somebody's like, "What is happening here?"
Exactly. So when you're just watching it, it seems really different. But if Amanda's eyes are drawn, what the eye sees, the hand will seek, if you like it, and so. This is why I said, if you wear this, if you wear, or you want to have the ability, like, to go, yeah, and I can do things like this, and I might actually even switch over and do this. Because I'm more comfortable like this, and I can also pump and release, pump and release, pump and release. Ooh, and I could maybe do something like this.
Oh, yeah. Now that's a good one.
That is a good one, isn't it? Yeah. Because remember, what the eye sees and likes, the hands will be drawn to. So sometimes having things nearby that we can transition to. Ooh, check this out.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. You know what? Now, again, if she had anything to drink, I could do this. And now I'm integrating this to this. And then I might say, ooh, let's get this. And now I have a work surface. I mean, so this idea of if I'm uncomfortable and if my brain is flexible, again, if my brain is more like this, I can figure out, okay, how do I get from this place to another situation in a way that doesn't say, no, don't do that. Stop. That's not appropriate.
Well, I was just...
One of my least favorite statements in the world, not appropriate. It's like, well, if they knew it wasn't appropriate, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be doing it. So the question is, if they're seeking something, offer them something in substitution rather than simply trying to get it to stop. And again, was I refusing care or refusing something? Well, I was making a refusal, so now if I turn around and want her to do something, I may find, she doesn't remember the details, but she remembers she didn't like our interaction. So this is that idea, the more I can actually show someone what we're about to do.
And if someone's blind, because I know we had a couple of questions before, if someone can't see or hear, that thing you just did, hand under hand, as the cue to get started, so I know what you're going for, I know what the object is, and then I could maybe take it over. If I needed to.
Yeah. Good. Now what I'm using are my hands. I picked two places because if she's blind and doesn't have any hearing, sort of like, that's not a good combo. You don't want it, by the way, but it does happen. Then what can happen, and I could give this signal here. Yeah. Good. Now I say good because it makes me comfortable. I know she can't hear it. I can do, nice, yeah, good work. And she can feel that. And I benefit from saying it because I need to lift me up, because if she doesn't have that, and I can also do, yeah, hey. So rather than just put her hand up and do this, it's like, well, that's freaky. Instead, I kept my hand behind hers and went like this. So I'm supporting the hand so when we hit it. So let's go ahead, and if she's blind, let's just do the approach if she were blind. Okay, so she can't see. So the knock knock though will work. I go knock knock, Amanda. Hey. It's Teepa. I wanted to come in and I wanted to say, hello, hello. Now, what you saw me doing there is I knocked at approximately the 6 feet range. And I said, knock, knock, pause. Hey, Amanda, it's Teepa. So what I'm looking for in her, because she's not verbal in this case, and she's not got vision, I'm looking at a head positioning. And when I went knock, knock, I saw an alerting, and then I went, it's Teepa. And she's sort of trying to find me, which she has some localizing issues. I then kept my voice moving so that she could figure out I had gotten down. My near arm goes, and hand, open hand, goes over the tendon right above the kneecap. Flat open hand, no fingertips. I lay my other hand, palm up, let her take my hand, and now I can transition into a parallel position. Okay. And now I can introduce whatever it is we're going to be working with. Did she get it? Yeah, really different. Keep your eyes closed. There you go. Then.
Oh.
It's okay.
No.
No, it's Amanda, calm down. Okay, so what was the first thing? And this idea of, okay, now she won't know whether this is a toothbrush, a spoon, medication, because she doesn't have a way to get that data in her brain. And so what she's doing is refusing, but she's refusing the sensation. So what I want to do is try to help her determine what something is well before we get there. So this is an incredibly helpful cue, because what I did was a scoop and bring it up, which indicates eating. On the other hand, if I have this, now notice how I did that contact, and I do, Okay, so Amanda, what are we doing?
Eating something from a fork, maybe?
Oh, a drink.
Oh.
Missed it, huh?
Yeah.
But once I got it there, I didn't tip it until you.
Yeah, then it's really obvious.
Then your brain went, oh,
Yeah.
so you think you're going to recognize emotion, but because you do your motion your way, I do it my way. I have to be ready, and I don't want to offer the drink. I'm going to let her. Oh, and so her brain goes, oh, it's a drink.
Yeah.
And then she might very well. Then I can hand her the drink. If she thought it was a fork and I was giving her a cup, where might stuff end up? And again, she spills stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, because. So here's another one. Let's say we want to exercise. We want her to do some kind of exercise activity, building strength in her upper body. Trying to explain that to somebody or help somebody get it. Instead, I'm going to come in underneath. I'm going to let her hold. And I'm going to do this first.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm moving one of her arms, and I'm going to see there, and now we're going to do this. And now I'm going to do... Oof.
It's hard. Switch. Oh.
Yeah. Now, how did you know you were done?
Because you were done.
And so this learning to communicate the way that the person can communicate reduces resistance, and it also reduces refusals, and it improves success. And it didn't take me a lot of time to get that message across. But what it means I have to be willing to do is really look at the situation, look at my person, see what they're able to do, and use what they're able to do, and fill in the blank spots.
So we've had a few different questions that are pretty specific to the person, like my mom's having trouble swallowing, or how do we keep the family from interrupting what we're trying to do for care, or how do we reinforce something? So maybe talk a little bit about our consulting page at the link.
Yeah, so one of the things we run into a lot is when one person gets really skillful at something, it doesn't mean everybody's suddenly skillful at something. And so when you're trying to get something done and you're having some decent success, people go, oh, look, she's doing this. Oh, Mom, I'm so excited. It's like, oh, geez. Oh, no. Yeah, no, not right now. So one of the things we have is called consulting. And what it does is it helps a person figure out some options on how to move something from where it is to where you'd rather it be. And that means you have to make choices and change, and you have to get the right support in the right places, and you have to provide others with choices and options. And it's a process. It is not a quick fix. We are not into quick Band-Aids because they rarely work. I mean, what you end up with is a Band-Aid you got to rip off and put something else on instead. But one of the things you're talking about is having trouble swallowing. We can certainly work on that. And so one of the things that we may talk about maybe on tomorrow, because we're back on live tomorrow evening.
Sure.
Yeah, a little bit different time, a little earlier.
Maybe we'll do some eating and drinking and things.
So that was a decent swallow. It was pretty quick, pretty complete. So, just as a quick preview.
Swallow it, Teepa. Swallow it, Teepa. Swallow it, Teepa. Or I could try. Do another one.
Okay, wasn't what you were looking for, but
Better than choking.
there you go. I mean, so it went out rather than in because I didn't quite get the cue. But what it shows you is I didn't know what to do with it. Once it was in there, I didn't know the next step of swallowing, but I also didn't know what else to do with it. I didn't want to spit it out. Same thing can happen with peeing, by the way. I don't want to pee, but I don't know what to... So I just keep holding on to it and holding on to it and holding on to it. And it makes me frantic because it's really uncomfortable to have your bladder... And I don't know if you remember ever having your bladder really full and finally you might give up and go. but it's just that same kind of thing. Having somebody show you, oh, out, all right, whew, thank heavens. So anyway, tomorrow evening, maybe we'll focus a little bit on those kinds of issues. And we can talk about when families are really struggling with some things, sure.
And if you're wanting to show off your Teepa knowledge or your participation in making a change in the dementia care culture, we do have some merch now available. We have a link on our profile where you can go, the lovely pictures on the wall with the peacock feather with the brain in the middle, Teepa's shirt, Amanda's sweatshirt, just to kind of show off your
And I think it has a back to it.
knowledge and skill set. Oh yeah, it does.
So-
Positive approach to care, teepasnow.com. So you can share the knowledge with
Oh, did I
others.
have it
You
here?
do, yeah, you got the back too, yeah.
See, you can't see what's behind you. Other people might notice it. I didn't know.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Till tomorrow night. Take care with care.
Thanks so much for all the
Thanks for
roses
being
and
here.
flowers and the hearts and love, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Teepa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching, and if you liked, if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out, and you might want to visit our website, www.teepasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.